So you want to make your videos look more cinematic. Today we're going to be looking at my favorite way to get that cinematic feel in your footage. So camera movement, why should you care about it, and why should you consider it in making your footage look more cinematic? Well, camera movement has a lot more of an impact in videos than you would really imagine. Say you're watching one of your favorite films or TV shows. More often than not, when the camera's moving, you probably don't even notice it, and that's because you're paying attention to the thing that's going on in the scene, the actors, the actual performance. Camera movement in Hollywood has a very, very strategic place. It can really make a big impact on the audience. So if we want to make our footage look more cinematic, we should be doing the things that are being done up on that big screen. So the biggest issue that I see a lot of people encountering when they're trying to make their videos more cinematic is they're either not moving the camera at all, or they're just sort of picking up the camera and pressing the record button and then just kind of pointing it, just this eye-level perspective. The problem with footage like that is it really has no purpose, and it really doesn't do anything to make your footage look any more cinematic. Now, that's not to say that handheld footage and locked off tripod shots don't have their place, but you'd be really surprised how much just moving the camera more strategically can make your videos have that more cinematic style. Okay, so now we understand why camera movement is important and why you should be implementing it, but how do we accomplish it? So the types of camera movement used in cinema are often things like sliders, sort of side-to-side shots, pushes and pulls, which are usually also done on a slider, sort of forward and backward movement. Then there's those crane and jib shots that get that up and down swooping movement, and then all sorts of stuff sort of in between that. The beauty of every single one of those movements is that we can pretty much accomplish all of them with just our hands. You guys constantly ask me, like, what stabilizer are you using? Do you have a 3-axis gimbal? Do you have a Ronin? No, the only time I'll really use something to stabilize my footage other than just my hands on the camera is something like the GorillaPod, which I use for vlogging, but I really don't actually use it that much because it's just kind of bulky. There's certain sort of little tips and kind of hacks that you can use while shooting handheld to sort of accentuate that camera movement. It really doesn't take that much actual physical movement to create movement inside of the camera. You can sort of create the illusion of more movement than there really is. Using objects in front of the lens to sort of slide past or push or pull away from can all sort of create this sense of movement, even though you may only be moving the camera a matter of 12 inches in front of you. More often than not, when I'm shooting my cinematic sequences, I'm not even really walking with the camera. I'm usually just sort of leaning forward and back with the camera, or just pushing the camera out from my body or sliding side to side. There really isn't a whole lot of physical movement that's happening there. Using that technique, because you don't have to physically move that much, you're generally able to have more contact with the camera and create that smooth movement, which is really, really critical and important when using camera movement in general. The biggest thing you should avoid is shaky footage. Camera movement is great, but if it's shaky camera movement, ugh. Okay, I do have to add a little disclaimer to that, because shaky sort of camera movement does, in some cases, have a use in sort of cinematic shooting. If it's an action scene with just tons of movement and lots of, you're trying to cause a lot of action, then sometimes that shaky look can actually have a place. The beauty of camera movement and why it is my personal favorite way to make something have a higher production feel, a more cinematic feel, is that there's really no right or wrong way to do it. But the best thing about adding camera movement into your videos is that it's free. You really don't need all that fancy equipment to create some high production cinematic feel in your videos. I mean, just go out and try it, seriously. It's this really cool thing that you can use in so many different ways, so many different styles in your videos. You can use music to influence the way the camera moves. You can just do so much with it to add to that cinematic feel in your videos. If you guys aren't using camera movement and you're filming in that sort of eye level perspective that I talked about earlier, I urge you to get out and start trying it. Use it, try and get it to flow into your videos. And once you can sort of accomplish getting those smooth camera movements, even handheld, you're one step closer to creating just amazing cinematic films. And I wanna see those films. So every once in a while, I'm doing live streams here on YouTube where I'm gonna be basically live watching people's videos. I'm not sure exactly when I'm gonna schedule those, but if you haven't been in them already, it's been a super, super fun and engaging time. Tons and tons of you guys have been coming in, watching the video. And the coolest thing is that I'm getting people coming in who have bought my LUT packs or my presets, and we're watching the work that they've created with those, which is like, oh, it's mind-blowing. It's super cool, and everybody just reacts to it. It's a really fun time. It's a really cool community. Everybody gives very positive feedback. I urge you to stay on the lookout for the live streams. You should, if you turn on the notifications, you'll get an email or a notification on your phone. Also, speaking of that, I released a new limited edition summertime LUT pack. This one's featuring 3 new LUTs, which have actually been used in today's video, so definitely go check that out. Link's gonna be down in the description. But with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go and end the video here. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the camera movement tutorial today. Super fun. You guys gotta get out and try it. Thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video.